You need to be accountable and transparent, okay? Both of you are consulted the pastor, but you also in many ways represent the parish. You should communicate with the parish. You should issue your agenda to parishioners ahead of time. Okay? Maybe post on your parish website. Parishioners should know what the agenda is going to be like. You should issue your minutes. Once they've been approved, you should issue your minutes to the entire parish. They should know what happened. You should communicate with the parishioners as often as possible. They should know who you are. Okay? For years in my parish, and in fact it's still true now I think about it, I have no idea who's on our parish finance council. And I only had a vague idea who was on our parish pastoral council for a long time. Parishioners should know who you are so that if there is an issue, they know who they can go to. I would encourage you at every parish function to be visible. A lot of parishes have coffee and donuts after Mass. I would encourage you to, on Sundays, I would encourage you to have a table there for the pastoral council, finance council, or someone just sits there, so if someone has something on their mind, they can come up and talk with you about it. So they know they have that opportunity. If you have a parish picnic, you should be visible at that parish picnic as a pastoral council or finance council member. Folks should know who you are so you can be accountable and transparent to them. And you should consult with parishioners. When issues come up, you should spend time talking with your fellow parishioners to get their viewpoint. Most parishioners like being consulted. They don't necessarily want to have the final say, but they like being consulted. If they're going to carry out their core responsibility, they need information. They need to be consulted. They know what's happening in the parish. Example, a few years ago in my parish, just during the height of the recession, the pastor came up one day at the announcement time and said, listen, we got a problem in this parish. Our fiscal year ends 1 month from now, and we have a $30,000 deficit for the year. So what I want you to do is for the next month, I want you to increase your contributions, and let's make up that $30,000. Man, I felt so bad for him. What an untenable position for this guy to be put in, that to go up there and ask parishioners, in a month our parish collection may be like 50,000, 60,000, and to add another 30,000 on that. I'm saying to myself, the pastoral council, or the finance council rather, had to know this was coming. This didn't just happen last week. We've been in this recession for a while. They had to know all along that we weren't going to meet budget. And I'm sure they did everything they could to cut expenditures. But if they had come to the parishioners, consult with us like starting in January, say, okay, listen, it's not looking good this year, folks. The parish budget looks like your budget at your house. We need your help. If we had developed a plan over like a 6-month period to deal with this, we could have done something about it. We could have gotten the parishioners involved, if nothing else. But to put the pastor in that position, to get up in front of the crowd and with 1 month to go asking for something that's really unreasonable, I thought was really unfair of them. But that's an example of we need to consult. We need to let parishioners know what's happening. We need to be transparent and accountable if we want our parishioners to be co-responsible. How about meetings? How often should you meet? I think pastoral council should meet 10 times a year, maybe a couple of months off in the summer. Finance council, at least quarterly, but if there's a committee of the finance council, they might meet in between the meetings. But the point is that they should have regular meetings. A large number, again back to our survey that I mentioned earlier, a large number of our finance councils met once a year. So how can you be a finance council meet once a year? Some met twice a year. To stay on top of things, you really need regular and frequent meetings. Need for group norms. Every council should have some sort of group norms, whether they're bylaws or whether they follow Robert's Rule of Order or whatever. They should have some way to say, okay, this is how we operate in this parish. This is how we make decisions so that everybody walking into a meeting knows what to expect at that meeting based on their group norms. They may not need to be as formal as official bylaws, although that would help in many cases. But somewhere, somehow, it should be written down that this is how we're going to operate. So as new members come on, they know what to expect. Should you hold open meetings? My inclination for pastoral council say no. That happens in some parishes. They hold open meetings. And my fear there is that if you hold open meetings, you get some pastoral councils who start grandstanding, trying to show off for the crowd. The pastor needs good, honest advice. He doesn't need someone grandstanding. He doesn't need someone who's afraid to say something that might be unpopular in front of the rest of the crowd. So I would not hold open meetings for pastoral councils. For finance councils, no, except during budget preparation. The budget is the most important document in your parish because it shows your priorities. If I want to find out what your parish priorities are, whether it's with religious education or outreach or liturgy, all I have to do is look at the budget, tell me where you spend the money, and it's going to tell me a lot about your parish. Parishioners should have some input, in my mind, into the budget preparation. Some parishes hold open town meetings where the the finance council rather is there, the business manager, and the pastor, and each ministry makes a presentation to the council about their budget needs for the next year. And it's done openly in front of the whole parish. Everybody wants to come, so everybody knows what's happening. Other parishes hold town hall meetings once the preliminary budget is available. Okay, not the final budget, it's too late then. But once the preliminary budget is available, many parishes that have the finance council hold open meetings so that people can look at it and give their input. Again, the budget is so critical to the setting the priorities of the parish that parishioners, if they're going to carry out their co-responsibility again, they need to have some input into the budget. Simply showing parishioners the final budget is not enough. That's almost disrespectful to parishioners. We're asking them to contribute money to fund the budget. They should have some consultative voice in making the budget. Other than that, I wouldn't have an open meeting for finance councils, but I think once a year, finance council should do something like that to get parishioner involvement in the budget.